Tamer, Cider back and day. And well, today 2 for the decklist countdown towards BT22's release. I'll be going over, well, my old pet deck from EX4, that being Omnimon Alter-S. Though, given the new stuff that we got from EX9, with the new, well, DM Alter-S stuff, though we aren't actually going to be going over the old ping pong style of deck, as given that we also had some stealth adventure support from EX9, we get to, well, be able to bridge the new Alter-S with the adventure deck, and thus we have Adventure Alter-S. And well, before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this around to help with the algorithm. And let's get into it. And starting off with the egg deck, given that it's adventure that we're running with, I end up going with the go-to being structure deck 21 Tsunomon, since it ends up being a means to recur your adventure pieces to be able to rebuild some stacks with some selected pieces that end up in trash. Well, that's it for the egg deck. Now on to rookies. For this deck, I end up going with eight rookies in this deck, with it being the standard core of Structure Deck 21 Goblimon and Structure Deck 20 Biomon as the core, with Biomon here being the main searcher of the deck, being able to grab out an Adventure Trait Digimon, and then a Adventure Trait Tamer or option, as well as granting the stack it's under a your turn plus 2000 DP buff. While Goblimon here being more so for the, well, inheritable to cycle through your deck, being able to draw one trash one on attack, as well as being able to warp into Melgorumon once conditions are met. And well, that's it for the rookie lineup. Now on to champion. Well, for the most part, ends up being a 4-3-2 split in this case of BT21 Togemon, BT20 Bergermon, and BT20 Kabuterimon. With this ratio being more so an emphasis on, well, the tempo aspect of the deck, as both Toge and Bergermon both have the on-play 1 Digivolving effect to instantly Digivolve again, as long as there's 3 or more unique colors and Tamers on board that you have, thus putting in the tempo as you get to go into a level 5 immediately for free. With Toge being the more ratio, being able to grant a all turns DP buff compared to Bergermon's plus 2000 during your turn. While Kabuteri here is more so a starting piece to help facilitate that, being able to cheat out a Adventure Tamer on board, as well as granting piercing to the stack he's under. As for tech options for this part, most part I end up seeing the security level 4s as pretty useful if you want to play around with, well, tempos, as well as being able to do other stuff besides that. With Ikaku here being, well, with Ikaku and Gatomon here being more so defensive security Digimon, as once Ikaku comes out, immediately trashes top 2 sources off an opposing Digimon, then stuns one of them then stuns opposing Digimon with no sources from attacking or blocking, And then Gato here being able to hit 2 opposing Digimon with security -1 to cushion yourself. And then Guru here coming out here as another recursion piece by simply returning another adventure trait from a Digimon with adventure trait from trashed hand. With Ikaku being a instant draw, Gato being a DP reduction, and Guru being another draw 1, trash 1 hairball. And that's it for level 4s. And on to the meat and potatoes of the deck. With that being the level 5 lineup. Well, for here, level 5 lineup ends up being, well, goes without saying, being the meat and potatoes of the deck. Since starting off, we'll go over, well, with the normal adventure majority, as we end up having 1 copy of BG20 Mega Kabutery and 3 copies of BG20 and Structure Deck 20. Yeah, both Structure Deck Mega Kabutery and Structure Angelomon as your utility level 5s. With Mega Kabutery on play when Digivolving to allow one of your Digimon to unsuspend. Then, for every 2 unique colors and tamers with the adventure trait, you get to suspend down 1 opposing Digimon. Then, Angelomon here, for its, well, being a highlight level 5 from the adventure engine, being able to allow one of your other Digimon to Digivolve for free. And well, that ends up being way to also further tempo once you have with multiple bodies on board. Then, for removal options, ends up being a 2-2 split between BT21 Melagreymon and Structure Deck 21 Lilymon. With Melagreymon here being able to hit 1 opposing Digimon with the Digivolve 1 for every 2 unique colors and tamers that you have. And then Lilymon here being able to suspend down everything that's 5,000 DP or lower. And then for every 2 unique colors and tamers that you have, you get to bot deck 1 opposing Digimon. With this being the Adventure Core, as they pretty much allow for aggro plays as well. Since as long as they see, since while they're on board, they see another Digimon with the adventure, one enemy Digimon being played or Digivolved into with the adventure trait, it allows one of your Digimon to be granted alliance and be able to attack immediately, may attack as well, thus allowing some really early aggression concerning the lineup, as well as granting your stacks with the Alliance inheritable. And then, for the new stuff that helps to bridge into Alter-S, we also have the new EX9 Guru Sagittarius mode and Melagreymon Alter-S mode, both being able to also be forms of hindrance to the opponent. With Sagittarius mode being able to come out and stun one of your opposing Digimon from suspending, allowing you to protect yourself. And then Alter-S mode here being able to pop a 8,000 DP or less Digimon. And given how I built this deck, it also can Digivolve for 1 over Melagreymon, if need be. With both also having the useful effect to, well, once the conditions are met, being able to immediately Digivolve up into their respective line. Since if Sagittarius mode sees a Digimon or Tamer with a Greymon or Mat in name, it gets to Digivolve up into Garurumon name. And then the opposite for Alter-S mode, whenever it sees a Garurumon name or Tai being played or Digivolve into, gets to digivolve into a Greymon name. In response, both also granting pretty useful inheritables, with Sagittarius mode allowing you to hit one of your hit opposing Digimon with the Digivolve on attack, and Alter-S mode being able to being a plus 4000 DP boost on your turn. As for the other tech options, considering this lineup, you also can choose to tech in where BT21 Waguru as a means to delete level 4 lower, with that level threshold increasing by 1 for every 2 unique colors. Zudomon from ST21 being able to trash any one source for every 2 unique colors and tamers that you have, then balance one opposing Digimon with one or fewer sources to hand. And as another removal option, ST21 Magna Angemon as a means to place a opposing Digimon with 6,000 DP or lower to the top of their security, with that threshold increasing by 2,000 for every 2 unique colors that you have. And that's it for level 5s. Now on to level 6s, which ends up going something that goes without saying, as the core ends up being a 3-2 split between Melgaru Ace and War Greymon Ace from the structure decks. Again, placing emphasis on Melgaru here, as ends up being your main form of attack, as Melgaru Ace, when it comes out, is able to bot deck a level 4 or lower Digimon at the baseline, and then for every 2 unique colors, being able to add 1 to that maximum level. As well, whenever it attacks, it's able to play out a level 4 lower Digimon from trash, thus playing into the alliance by creating its own alliance partner before alliance declaration. And given that the lineup also places emphasis on the Toge and Birdra, you're able to also see some other combo plays by using their own effects when they enter play. Well, War Greymon here has the ability to grant protection against Digimon effects till the end of your opponent's turn, granting 1 instance of it per every 2 unique colors in tamers that you have. Well, also, when it comes into play, when it digivolves and when it attacks, it gets to delete the lowest DP on the opposing side. To run on the level 6 lineup, I run the 1 copy of Medieval Gallantmon from EX9, with its fame still being quite rampant in the community, being to come out at a reduced cost, the cost of 7 by suspending any 2 Digimon on board, be it your own or opposing Digimon, and for its main effect, being able to be quite the killer, as its 1 Digivolve gets to suspend down 1 opposing Digimon, then deletes 1 opposing Digimon with 8,000 DP or lower, and then for each suspended Digimon, that threshold increases by 300. With the alterns being the main killer, as it gets to trigger the 1 Digivolving again. In addition, it's also a Alliance and Vortex body, thus also being some other, another form of very good aggression, especially given how I built the deck with the inclusion of Piercing Interval through the Kabuterimon. Though for other level 6s in mind, you could bring in the reasoning to include the EX9 Blitzgray Ace and Crescaroo Ace. Granted, both don't have the adventure trait to be searchable. With Blitzgray here being a Alliance and Blocker body, and when it enters play, gets to de-Digiball 3 one opposing Digimon, with the ability to then, well, an in-turn ability to go into Alter-S, and then allowing that Digimon to attack. And then Crescaroo Ace here being another Alliance and Blocker body, that when it enters play, gets to bot deck one level 5 or lower Digimon, and also goes into Alter-S to allow it to attack, and being able to grant with both being able to grant Alter-S inheribles. Though again, due to how unsearchable both these are, I opted to not include them. And that's it for the level 6 lineup. Now into, well, the face of the deck. That being 2 copies of Omnimon, the new EX9 Omnimon Alter-S, who can come out over any of your level 6s, since both fulfill the concolor, well, since all 3 of my level 6s of choice fulfill a color recommendation, or alternatively you can DNA using them, being just a blue and red, though given how, well, Medieval Gown also works as that color requirement, it also becomes a valid DNA partner for Melgaroo Ace. And well, going over it, when it enters the field, if it's DNA Digivolved, your opponent's Digimon's effects, well, actually, scratch that. Going over the errata effect, well, the mistranslate effect, as its actual effect is, and that if you DNA into it, it grants itself protection against any of your opponent's effects for the turn, then deletes all of their Digimon with the highest level, and has the when attacking, well, end of attack ability to play out a Greymon or Garurumon in name from its sources, and then puts this top card as the top security, thus allowing you to refresh the on-play effects of, well, pretty much both Melgaroo and or Greymon when they enter field, and allowing you to set up a secondary Alter-S to attack once again. And well, that's it for the level 7 lineup, as that ends up wrapping up for Digimon. Next is the Tamer lineup. Well, given that this is adventure, it ends up being pretty Tamer loaded as well. Starting lineup being the BT21 tie as the, well, memory Tamer for the deck, and your draw engine, since when it receives your Digimon attack, you get to spin them down for a draw 1, as well as being able to play out any Digimon, any adventure trait Digimon or Tamer at reduced cost of, well, baseline of 2, or then that threshold increasing, cheating is what I was actually trying to say, with that threshold increasing by 1 for each 2 unique colors and other Tamers that you have. And to follow that up, I run 3 copies of the new EX9 tie-in map, being another draw engine, as when it comes playing, allows you to recur any Gray or Guru or Omni name in trash, or if you don't add anything from the effect, you're able to draw 1. And then it also has the ability to grant memory, since whenever it sees any other Digimon that get played or Digivolved, it gets to spin itself down. If you sees a Greymon name or Guru name on board, with both granting 1 memory each. Then, to go along with the adventure, ends up running 3 copies of Structure 21 Matt and TK, as, well, this ends up being the main form of aggression for this deck, as it grants a blanket rush to all of your level 5 or higher adventure trait Digimon, as well being able to spin itself down to reduce a hard play by 1. And to follow up with that, we also run the 1 copy of Tai and Izzy as a means to also add more colors to this deck in terms of Tamers, being able to grant a blanket blocker to all of your adventure trait. Thus, my emphasis on not really needing a blocker inherent sense because of this global blocker granting, as well as also another means to reduce hard play costs of adventure traits. And to round it off, although it ends up overlapping in colors, I run the 1 copy of Structure 21 Joe and Mimi, since it ends up being a form of gradual passive memory gain, since as long as you have a adventure trait Digimon on board, you get to gain 1 at the start of your turn, start of your main phase, and then whenever it also grants another reduction to hard plays. With this lineup definitely being how I cater towards it, as a means to minimize color overlap, while also still being able to be memory efficient in terms of memory gain from the effects. And that's it for the Tamer lineup. Now on to options. With this definitely being pretty light, being a 4-1 split between Our Courage United and Island of Adventure. With Our Courage United here being able to, well, be played out, ignoring its color requirements as long as a adventure trait's on board, as a draw 2 for the deck, and having a delay to pop itself whenever it sees your level 5 or higher Digimon leave the battle area, pretty much effectively replacing it with another level 5 or lower Digimon from hand, adventure trait Digimon from hand, to come out. Thus, the emphasis on removal as well as another form of flexibility, since whenever it sees a level 5 or higher adventure trait get removed, you're able to replace it with a level 5 or lower to at least recur some pieces. All on the adventure here being able to help cheat out Tamers from hand, since it gets to replace the top security with itself, while also being pseudo searched by adding that top security. Since when it also gets checked, it also grants level 3 or higher Digimon plus 1000 DP globally, and then its security effect being a means to cheat out your Tamers. And that's it for the deck. Now on to combos. For combos, starting off with Mulligan hand, again, the whole nature of the deck. The main nature is pretty much just sitting up to then see your pieces. Definitely seeing your rookies and options early on definitely helps. Then seeing level 4s, with Calvateri definitely being the one you want to see ASAP to be able to start chaining out your Tamers, and then at least one of your Tamers, preferably any of the ones that reduce play cost or memory Seratai as a means to work with efficient memory. Then from there, you'd want to see any of your level 5s, since you want to go into them or hold on to them to cheat out through Courage United. And from there, either level 6s, then Alter-S as a third priority, since you'll be wanting them to help close out, be able to help control board to then possibly close out games. Well, given that Adventure is pretty much the whole basis of this deck, combos are pretty much, well, as how the deck should run. As the main idea is all about establishing as many different color trainers on board as possible to get the most out of your effects, since you'll be needing it to start as the baseline for all your combos. Since again, maybe being 3 unique colors at the least, to start with so many aggro plays. Then, as I previously stated, having Courage United and Adventure, if possible, depending on where you see it, since in the other game you definitely want to set it up to also start with cheat shenanigans, since you could go one round of climbing up the stack to pretty much be being down with either Ace, preferably Algaru, or have Medieval Gallon on board to be its usual pretty offensive self. Or alternatively, in your established board state, pretty much just go pretty much go ham with your Toge and Bergemon, since again, at least 3 unique colors on board for them to immediately cheat into any level 5s, Adventure level 5s that you have. Imagine one here definitely being saved for when you're going wide. As, once again, once you establish that chain, it's all about, swinging. And, well, for that case of Alter-S in this set, in this sense, is a Alter-S pretty much making use of either stack on board and DNAing over them to then be immune against all of your opponent's effects for the turn and wiping out their highest level to then be able to swing, surviving it, playing out both Melguru and War Grey from the stack, and placing itself back into security, allowing you to get, pretty much resetting their on plays to then establish themselves once more. And given the nature of Mandige, both those newly played out aces will also have the ability to bring swing in to also go in for extra damage. And given the nature of Malguru, you're able to revive your level 4s for more plays. Again, Toge and Berja also being able to go into any level 5s in hand at that point, furthering more plays, since it's all about pretty much our friendship for the deck, as the Adventure Engine is. being able to swing in pretty aggressively from the get-go. And well, overall, this has been my look at Adventure Alter-S in the EX9 format. Well, closing out, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this around to keep up with as we continue on with this breakdown, with this countdown towards Cyber Eden's release. This is Cyberjaw signing off.